Sacrificial animal. That's what a Saudi intelligence official allegedly called dissident and journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who was murdered in Istanbul last year. Those details, along with other gruesome accounts, were all included in a special UN report. Agnes Kalamart, who authored the report, pointed direct responsibility of the killing and subsequent cover-up to the Saudi Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman. But will this change anything? Will the renewed pressure force the Saudi royal family to come clean? Citing credible evidence, the report states that the murder constituted an extrajudicial killing that could not have happened without the Crown Prince's knowledge. And it didn't stop there, calling for the investigation of senior Saudi officials, including the Crown Prince himself. The report notes that Turkish investigators who examined the consulate found traces of a professional cleanup. Evidence, the report says, that the Saudi investigation had not been conducted in good faith and amounted to obstructing justice. But some of the report's greatest concerns centered on the possibility that Saudi Arabia might conduct similar acts in the future, where dissidents could be captured abroad. And joining me now is Levent Korkut, who's a lecturer of law at Istanbul Medipol University, and Ahmet Kasım Han, who is a professor of international relations at Altınbaş University. Gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk, and thanks for joining me. Levent, I would like to start with you. So the Saudis have come out and denounced the report. Will this report by the UN's rapporteur will change anything in Riyadh, or they're just going to ride out this bad press that, like they did before?
I think that it will not change fundamentally in Riyadh. The reporter this morning, I think, made an interview with a newspaper journalist. She said that the Saudi authorities dealing with me rather than the report. That shows that there is no such a serious attention of Saudi authorities to the violations indicated in the report. She also added to the journalist that she is not officially responsible person in UN.
She's dealing with the human rights issue.
Yes, she is dealing with human rights issue, and but she said that it does not undervalues what report says. She also underlines that the UN authorities, Security Council and Human Rights Council must give attention what report says.
Yes, we're going to get back to it, but you believe that nothing's going to change for Riyadh?
For now.
For now. Ahmet, Turkey has been since the beginning pushing for a full account of what happened. And Foreign Minister Çavuşoğlu tweeted, Turkey strongly endorses UN rapporteur's recommendations for elucidating Khashoggi's murder and holding those responsible accountable. So, do you believe this report will give Turkish authorities fuel to renew their campaign against Saudi Arabia so that what really happened?
Well, I think that the judicial due process and the political dimension are not necessarily two overlapping parallel processes. I would say that much of the Khashoggi case is being determined by political concerns. And the political landscape is not what it used to be at the time of the brutal murder of Mr. Khashoggi.
What has changed so far?
I think that today, despite the report, the time period between the murder itself up until now, that the report is out, showed that the Saudi Crown Prince is there to stay. Probably any country that is going to pursue any action against Saudi Arabia is going to take into account the fact that neither the American administration nor other powers to be in the West are genuinely interested in ousting the Crown Prince from the position that he occupies today. That is why I do think that as long as the political concerns are taken into consideration, as much as the humanitarian and judicial concerns, this is going to end up somewhere where it more represents the Saudi interest or Saudi preferences rather than what the law requires or what the feeling of justice needs to be served.
So, Levent, is the global community almost helpless when it comes to bringing Khashoggi's murderers to justice? Because you've mentioned an international criminal investigation should be dealt by the UN Secretary General's office, which requires a UN security resolution, and we see the United States, it's unlikely that it will vote in favor of such an investigation. So, are we helpless?
No, in fact, yes, there may be extreme difficulties. They may be politically important, but legally speaking, all lawyers know that even a dead case is not a dead case. Then they should continue, I think, all authorities believing that this is a brutal thing, and UN specify the action as premeditated extrajudicial execution. It is one of the most serious crimes in the world.
Yes.
Therefore, the institutions, regional bodies, UN, all these institutions should deal with this problem. On the other hand, there are friendly governments. They should push the institutions to do something. There is International Criminal Court. It is an action against humanity. The prosecutor of International Criminal Court, even though these countries are not side of the convention, should do something.
We'll see. Ahmet, you just mentioned the current political environment. So I want to ask you, are sanctions even possible against Saudi Arabia, given its crucial role in OPEC being the world's largest oil supplier? So they have a leverage. They could retaliate in many ways. So how would the Saudis likely to respond to sanctions if there is going to be any?
I don't think that this is even a remote probability.
No, not at all?
If you take into consideration the larger strategic picture, one dimension of which is the US-Iranian relations, and how much the United States and the global economy needs a balanced oil market today. I would say that any sanctions against Saudi Arabia is, though not impossible, very hard to really fathom. I would say that, again, political considerations and economic interests might trump over legal concerns and the feeling or the consciousness that is required for justice. I would say that I totally agree with Levent on what he has said in the spirit of the law and in the spirit of the justice to be served, really. But probably it is just this disciplinary gap that we have amongst somebody who is well-versed in law and somebody who is trained in international relations.
Very shortly, U.S. Senate has voted to block arms sales to Saudi Arabia. So do you think this would kind of put pressure on Trump to revisit his stance towards Saudi Arabia?
I would not say so.
No, you wouldn't. Levent, one thing the report stresses is that Saudis continue to use torture and other means on dissidents, that they're still pursuing them abroad. So should we be scared?
Be scared of
getting killed abroad if you're a dissident?
Yeah, the report covers some, I think, statements of the people taken as evidence, and the reporter rapporteur says that she kept their names secret because she openly declares that she is not sure about their security. That also shows that the state is not trustable in terms of human rights violations. There are 6 violations listed by the report, all serious violations: life, freedom of expression, torture, extrajudicial killings. These are the most serious.
So do you believe, last question, if this report is not forwarded into an international investigation, do you believe this could embolden Saudi Arabia further if it is left unpunished?
Of course. One of the important points in the report, it says that the international ways and channels must be strengthened. International institutions must be strengthened against such actions.
Are you hopeful?
I am not hopeful in the short run, but in the long run, we will witness, unfortunately, this type of events, and after that, we will be forced to do it. As world states, this type of actions not prevented, the other states will also resorting to similar actions in the future.
All right, guess we have to leave it here. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me on Straight Talk. Appreciate it a lot.